What's up, y'all? You know I'm running a little late. Sorry. Let me set this up. Oh, the terrible filter I got on her right now. What is going on, beautiful people? Waiting for Miss Lindsay to hop on here. There she go. I gotta show my face. I need a filter on here. I feel like I look bad. Y'all got to see me. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got like 12 people on here so far right now. Just hop in a second.
Hey.
What's going on? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hold on. How do we do this? You want to start it over to do like the side-by-side thing?
I kind of forgot how to do all this, so I was like nervous that I wouldn't even be able to get in.
Hold
How
on.
do you do it?
Hold on. I think you have to sign off real quick. If you
Okay.
if you leave it, I think you leave it and then you go live and then I'll be able to
Oh,
invite
okay.
you. So
Okay.
we can host
I'll
we
be
can host
right
the meeting.
back.
Okay. Having a great day. About to go live with Miss Lindsay. About to talk about some women narcissism, female narcissism. Uh-oh. What's going on, y'all? Hope you're having a great day. I am doing one-on-ones and whatnot. Caribbean Queenie, appreciate the love. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's how the setup. The setup is a little bit better this way. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on?
Good.
So, y'all don't know Miss Lindsay Goodman. She went mega viral, more viral than I've ever known on TikTok somehow. I would just go ahead and tell your story. Lynn's gonna tell her story about her experience dealing with narcissistic abuse, getting out of it, and building a platform, talking about it, helping other people, deal with situations that are very similar to her. So the floor is yours, Miss Lindsay.
Okay, now I'm nervous. um, First of all, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it because um, more and more people are starting to talk about this, but the queer aspect, like what we talked about, there are less people talking about violence in queer relationships. And I'm going to use the word queer. So it's like a blanket term for all of us rather than saying like two women or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, even, that made it even harder for me because while I was in the relationship, I feel like on top of all the obvious, narcissism is very difficult to understand when you're in it and you're trauma bonded. There was this whole other level of being like, but it's a woman. Like, we're two women. Men abuse women. And, we're just kind of like taught this, like you see it in movies and everything like that. So I think that made it harder for me to understand it. But what happened was after I had left and I started talking about like if you scroll back, you can see my content where I'm like, we broke up and our relationship like wasn't amazing. And then all of a sudden I was like, I have a platform. And it's not massive, but I need to be telling the truth to myself and telling the truth to other people who may see this and recognize their own relationship in what I'm talking about. And I did like I started to grow a little bit, and then like you said, I had that birthday video, and I posted it. I saw it and was like, wow, look how uncomfortable I am. And I thought maybe 2,000 people would see it, and it blows my mind. Blows my mind.
Yeah, didn't you have like 20-something million views on it?
I think it's at like 24 million right now. And then, so obviously, like during that time, like my account was going crazy, but I posted the reactive abuse video. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's at like 4 million, which, like my content is like you said, like you have over a million followers. I've got like 100 something. And so my content's like, some get attention, some don't. But to have those videos take off like that just really proves that this is happening all the time. And obviously, with my birthday video, there's tons and tons of people who are women who are being abused by men. There are some men who would say, well, my ex-wife, but it just blew my mind that there's that many, like, there's a reason why 24 million people, like, TikTok knows. TikTok knows.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
Yeah. TikTok,
Yeah.
TikTok knows. That's why it's like when people see my platform and where I'm at now with over 1 million people, they were like, how did you get this platform off of? I was like, I'm literally just talking about my own mental health. And I started off talking about my own mental health, and it just like evolved into what it is now. Yeah. So I remember I said your story was unique because I saw your video because when I was talking to you last week, it was about a week, 2 weeks ago, whenever we talked. I was just like, I know your face was somewhere, and then I was like, and I saw the video. I was like, oh, you had to start doing like you gotta eat the strawberries so I can recognize you.
Yeah, I should have popped on just like, do you know me now?
Yeah, because people, because like literally, I got tagged in that video like 20 times. I saw it like, Jesus, this is a little rough right there. Then I saw the reactive abuse one, and then I was like, I saw you got a lot of good videos on there now. And then like, how long were you in your relationship?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
2.5 years, lived together the entire time, and I have a 4-year-old. So, there was a kid involved, and, most of his life he was with my ex as well. So it was, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like 2.5 years about it. Like, what do you feel like the final straw was? I know you said, so I know. I just like.
Try not to make this too long. The longer version is that I was on my way out. I started seeing content like yours, reading books like I saw with Lisa Sunny. I got her trauma bond journal and stuff like that, and I was like prepping myself and starting to really pay attention to what was going on. Actually, I found journals of mine from like a year ago and 2 years ago because we were in couples therapy for a year and a half, and they would say, I'm getting so much better. We're doing so much better. We're not having these explosive arguments anymore. And then I found my journals and I was like, everything is the same. Nothing has changed except for maybe you're smarter now because we've been doing therapy. But I started to pull back a little bit, and then the birthday video happened. We broke up, but still lived together. And so fast forward from August when we broke up to like late September, they were coming home and being kind of aggressive with my child. And as far as I know, they weren't physically abusive with him, but like would just come home and complain and call him a brat and, storm around saying like, I'm done with him. You're turning him into a brat, like without me disciplining him and, like putting my foot down with him. He's going to grow up to be so spoiled and, all this stuff. And I just like packed him up and left. And of course, I was still in the area, so I had another like week or so of them showing up, breaking into my house, trying to get to my son, trying to get the dog, like just all this stuff. So I packed up and I left the state for 3 months. And I was like, this isn't gonna. I just knew. I felt like, even though I didn't fully understand and accept it that they were a narcissist, and I don't think I really fully understood that like the extent of the abuse that I went through. Like it wasn't until I was in, with my family far away, watching your content, other people's content, that I was like, oh shit. But even when I was here and they were coming over and I was remaining calm when they would come around because I was like, I'm being, they're trying to gaslight me. I was like, now I had these words in my head to help me through it. I was like, this isn't going to stop. And I didn't know that they had another person kind of lined up, but it still probably wouldn't have stopped even if they started like dabbling, like actually meeting up with that person. You get to that point where the only way out is to like escape,
Yeah. So in that situation right there, you said that she already had a new person lined up. Tell tell that part of the story, because that right there is extremely interesting right there.
Oh yeah. So okay, so part of why I think, of course, because we don't get answers from people who aren't self-aware, is that they were coming home more and more agitated at night because they were lining up this other girl from the gym, and so then my son was there, and bedtime and all that stuff. So I didn't know it until, like I said, afterwards. I was like, that's why they're coming home late, and they were annoyed because they were lining up this other person. That's probably a lot of work, and then coming home to this girl who's unhappy and her child who like what, I don't know how people can balance all that. But so I finally left, and within 2 weeks of leaving, they made their move on this new girl, and the girl was just married to her husband. I know you love this part. You love this part.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so bad. And but to be honest, like, so I didn't really, I don't know how much I told you about how I found out, but we shared.
Yeah, you told me. You said you had got like a
Someone's calling.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. You just tell
Yeah,
everybody else
we
that.
shared devices. I know. See, if your mind is blown, we're gonna like, yeah. So we shared devices, and my ex is very private, like doesn't use social media, doesn't post, doesn't do anything like that. So I didn't realize that I was still logged into their Instagram. And I woke up one morning to like, it's like 6 a.m. and there was like 200 messages and they were still scrolling in. And I'm like, who's this person's name? And I'm like, who is messaging me? Because I have an Instagram and I don't have notifications on. I don't know about you, but like you'd never be off your phone. So I just, open it when I open it. And so I woke up and it was hours of them exchanging this woman who had just gotten married to her husband like maybe 3 weeks beforehand.
Just
And
got married 3 weeks ago. Already
literally like didn't even have a marriage certificate yet, and was like, and I don't know like her part in the story. Obviously she has probably loads of trauma, because the same with me, like I was lured out of a relationship. Like I'm owning my part now. Like I had a shitload of trauma that I didn't know was in there. So obviously this girl was in a place of vulnerability that, just like that, this person can sweep in. But like, seeing my ex say the same things that they said to me, that, it's fate. I saw you 10 seconds in. I was just like, you're the one who's going to make me happy again. You're this, you're that. Like, I just know I have these feelings. I know you're married, so I shouldn't, but I can't stop. And I was like, sounds so familiar. And then the biggest thing for me was like, this is the second time that this person has gone after a married straight person, and also the husbands are in the military. So again, yes, judge me if you will, I made a mistake, and I did what I did, and I think it's important to talk about, because there are people out there who, maybe you chime in on this one, but like this narcissist thing is going for straight people, but married people, like there must be this extra like control or power or something going on there.
So yeah, so certain narcissistic people will go after only married people, or only people that are in committed relationships, because they also have something to lose. So you have something to lose. It's like me and somebody else is messing around, and they are also married. They have something to lose. So you can't just blow my life up without me blowing yours up. So it's like it's equal. Like you can't just you're not gonna there will be no, because like I don't, me personally, you don't like people having power and control over you. So if you're in a dynamic like that where that person can ruin your life, but you have nothing on them, that person has power over you. That person has some type of control over you. So certain people will only go for people that are of equal status of them, like married or relationship wise and things like that. So you both you can't just shoot a missile at me and not get one fire back at you. Pretty much, I'm just like it's like a little war. Like no. Yeah, I gotta. You have to have something equal to lose as well. So that mindset happens a lot right there, though. And then like, so you do get caught up like that. So I was just like, so yeah. When you telling me that, I was like, yeah, that is a pattern. You have to have something to lose. Like, you're gonna blow my relationship up. Oh, that's it's like the Cold War in a relationship. You're like, you gonna nuke me? I'm gonna nuke you. Let's nuke each other,
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's like my brain is just like, obviously you can tell I'm very fascinated by all of this, because I'm constantly like learning and reading and following all of you and listening to podcasts. But like every time I get this, like, and you like blew my mind with some other stuff too, where I'm just like, how do y'all like think like this?
I be wondering the same thing about non-narcissistic people. Like, how do you think like this? I'm like,
true. Yeah, I never thought about that.
I'm like, don't do that. This is how my mind works, though. So that's why, like, it's always, because I always try to plan ahead a little bit more, things like that. So I'm very, very try to be 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of situations and things like that. And that's part of why my therapist said I was leaning towards a sociopath, which is kind of funny. But you just plan too much. It's like you scheme too much. I was like, do I? And you're like, yeah, you do. So things like that. So they do that does happen in situations like that. But you said, but I think I saw one of your videos too. You said, no, you just said a few minutes ago that she was like breaking back into your house and stuff like that too, like when you were gone. They say they don't give up, even if they have new supply or somebody else set up, they still feel like they have, you know, a piece of ownership over you. You know what I mean? So they'll hunt you down sometimes. They'll stalk you.
Yeah, it was like, you know, so it's like you take this person, and this is like there were so many things like as I was leaving and when I left that helped me. Like there was just so much clarity. And like when you see this person who, you know, when you're in it, you're trauma bonded. You're the whole time you're like, does this person even care about me? Do they love me? Like, why so hot and cold? Like, I can remember thinking like, okay, in the past, like I either knew someone liked me or didn't. But with this person, like I don't know where I stand in their life. And then you leave, and there it's just sheer panic. I love you. I can't live without you. I can't live without your kid. I can't, like crying, showing up desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, so they did, they just like walked in the house and I was like, oh my God, no, like just take the dog and leave, because they had said, you know, that they wanted the dog. And I was like, you know, you're scaring my kid. Like, this is crazy. And so like later that day, kid was at school and my dumb trauma bonded ass was like, okay, fine, let's meet up. We'll walk the dog so that we're outside, we're in public, whatever. And I was like, you know, you can't like, you can't walk into someone's house. And they would say things like, well, I was panicking. I'm panicking. And I, you know, it's easy to convince yourself when you don't understand, like, oh, this person's just desperate. They're really hurting. They're whatever, but it's not. They're panicking because they're losing control.
Yep.
And that's way worse. Like that's scary. Like you don't know what someone's
Mm-hmm.
capable of.
I'm glad you said it right there, because that's why I tell people, I like, I don't put anything past anyone, because just because somebody hasn't done something to you previously doesn't mean that they won't like do it now. So yeah, that's why I said it's like protect yourself at all costs. So like you never know. Like you said, did you think that, you know, did you think that they would get to the point where they were breaking into your house? You probably didn't think that at first, but then you go in the house and they sit on the couch like, fancy seeing you here. Like in my house, fancy seeing me here. You know, you know, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So your birthday video though, the one that took off, like I would just explain that video right there, because like it was your birthday, right? Y'all know how narcissistic people are around birthdays and holidays and things like that. So Lindsay, like I guess your ex didn't plan the birthday, didn't want to do it. Did they start an argument on your birthday?
Later that day, so I don't remember the morning of my birthday, but I knew, like, you know, I have a kid, so any holiday or special day is really for him. Like, I'm 34, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I took him, you know, blueberry picking. We got flowers, we got ice cream. And I remember telling my ex, like, I just want us to all go get ice cream, like, for my son. That's all I want, because he's gonna love it. And I don't remember, I think they probably were like, you know, I'm busy. I have stuff to do. I have like, they don't really even have like real, this is going to sound really judgy, but like real jobs. It's like the kind of person who's just got like little side hustles and is always trying to go back to school and do a career change. Like I listened to a podcast of yours about that recently. It's like, okay, whatever, I'll go with him. And we like, that happened all the time. We're like, you know, they didn't want to come. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go anyway. And a lot of people in my video were like, they let you go. Well, yeah, they let me go. And, you know, I would get my son out of the house and they probably just want to be alone. Like, I don't know, whatever. But so yeah, I come home and there's this surprise little, like, you know, setup. If you haven't seen the video, and they're like recording me, which this again is a person who like in 2.5 years, I was the one taking the pictures. So I had a phone full of pictures of my adorable son with this a-hole and like barely any pictures of me. And if they took pictures of me, they were horrible. So I'm like, why is this person recording me? Like, what's going on here? What's coming after this? Like, it was very nerve wracking, because I'm like, oh my God, I just had this amazing day. Also, these blueberries are amazing. What's happening? And I was like, really? And like, how do I respond to this? Oh no, I'm nervous. I need to look excited. But also like, what the hell is that? Like, what is this? And I'm not like, you know, a lot of people criticize like, oh, women, they're just never happy. They want these like expensive things, whatever. And I'm like, you could pick a rock up at the beach and say, this is beautiful. It made me think of you. And I would be like, awesome. It's not about money. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this gift that like, am I supposed to be thankful now? Am I supposed to, you know, are you going to use this against me and be like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I do so much for you. And yes, afterwards, I remember we did go get ice cream with my son, and like they complained on the whole drive because it was like slightly out of town. They complained about that. Like it was just like
Mm-hmm.
had to be miserable. And then later that night we like definitely got in a fight because you can't have a nice whole day that's about you.
Yeah. Mm-mm. But you know, sometimes they'll like narcissistic people will do stuff like that though. Well, like on your birthday or on a holiday, they'll start the day off like with a negative mood with some negativity to get you down, but then they'll try to get you a gift or surprise you to pick you up. You know, and stuff like that happens all the time. And then, like you said, at the end of the night, back down. You know, you got to argue. So you start the day off fussing and fighting and arguing. Middle of the day, surprise, here's your Valentine's Day gift, happy birthday, you know, Merry Christmas, whatever it is. And then later on that night, like, you were not grateful for that damn gift. I'll never do that for you again. You ungrateful swine. Beep, 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 beep. They'll go off on you. So the high lows. You know, they push pull. I always say like the way you describe a narcissistic relationship is that they're pushing you away while simultaneously grabbing you by the collar. They keep you at the arm. They kind of keep your arm's length, but grab you so they don't let you go. You know, they'll push you away, but like still have a hold on you. So a lot of times that happens in relationships like that. And then like even like with that video right there that you did, you know, which is like it took off, and then you had the reactive abuse one. So like I said, and then you said also, I think you also did one with they were walking in front of you, walking way out in front of you, which yeah, just kind of tied into that because y'all do know sometimes a narcissistic person, in order to they'll just mess with you by walking way out ahead of you, just like literally like you're walking, you put your head down, they like 3 miles ahead of you, like they took off running while you were looking down, like you know.
Yeah.
Just to get ahead of you to mess with you. Like, and then you're going too slow. You're moving too, like, why are you, pick your feet up, pick your speed up. Like, I'm not going to wait on you. You know, I talked to a woman yesterday about something very similar. Like her ex and her were gamers, and they used to play like role playing games together. And he would go out ahead of her during the game and accomplish all the tasks and get all like the money and the loot and stuff. And she'd be like, "Why don't you slow down?" He's like, when wait on you? I don't want to play anymore. Then I don't want to go and ruin the night, ruin the day, and stuff like that. It's kind of wild, but it is kind of crazy. And
I remember oh, go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say that day and the funny thing is, like in the video, I'm saying, oh my gosh, like 2 years ago when we started hanging out, we were walking down this same street in this spot, and someone said, oh my goodness, you two are so cute together. Like, look at this love. Like, you can just feel it because we were in the love bombing phase still. And I was like reflecting, I was like, wow, 2 years later, I'm dirt. And they're like way up there, but we went shopping. Cause I was like, I really need some new clothes. Like, I'm not feeling really cute right now, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want me to feel cute, right? Because then I would be like, someone else will treat me better. And so we go shopping, and I still have this video. Like, I've tried to delete everything possible, but anything that's like even mildly abusive, I'm like, you need that. Like, remind yourself. And like, I'm in the dressing room and I like open it and I'm like wearing some cute little outfit, and they're looking at their phone, just watching, like, don't even. And I'm like, hello, hey, do you like this? Just ignoring, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Just to ignore you because that makes you feel like less than. Like you put on like your what they call it, your Sunday best, and
Yeah.
they make you feel like it's your Saturday worst.
Yeah. Just kind of
Cool.
like, yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Oh my God.
Ignore you.
Triggered.
How do I look? You're like, huh, cool. Nice. Just to mess with you, just to invalidate your, the way you dress and things like that. So that's how you also, like I say, get really, really caught up in that situation like that because they want like narcissistic people, kind of want, like, we want to be the source of your validation, but we also don't want to give it to you. So, you're always trying to seek it. And the longer you stay in a dynamic, the more and more you seek it and you don't get it, you start to weigh in yourself. So a lot of people, if you're seeking validation, if they'll get you to cut your friends and family off and stuff like that, so they'll be the only source of affection and love and care, the person you talk to the most, but they don't want to hear it. So yikes, you know what I mean? Yeah,
So
it's just so yikes, you know what I mean? So a lot of people get caught up in that situation. Though. Like, again, that's why I got a million followers. That people are just like, "What is going on?" And most people I talk to, they are trying to get out or have been out of it, and trying to make sense of what they went through. So, like you said before, I know I'm pretty sure your ex didn't provide you any kind of closure. Like they kind of went off the deep end and found somebody else. That's their closure. And the way your relationship ended is kind of spot on how narcissists, like the narcissist, non-narcissistic, their dynamic goes, because narcissists use other people to heal and get over relationships. Like that's why she moved on so quickly. That's why narcissists will move on quickly, to somebody else. While you didn't jump into another relationship, you have to heal on your own. You take your time to heal on your own, find yourself, rebuild yourself, and then you maybe get back out there. Whereas she, instead of trying to heal on her own, she's just like, hey, newly married, 3 week newlywed, come love me. You know what I mean? So you get caught up in situations like that. So that happens a lot right there. So they heal with other people.
I just thought of something that's going to blow your mind as well. I was on Bumble, because Bumble is like a dating and a friend app.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make friends, right? I got out of this horrible relationship, which, by the way, making friends is very hard because you don't trust anyone. And they have to be a very specific kind of friend. Like, I can't have a friend who's like super assertive, or like, I don't want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells, or there's all these rules. Like, you got to be chill AF. Otherwise, like, that friendship's not going to work for me right now. That's something that I wasn't expecting. I was like, I'm just going to make all these friends now. So anyway, I am kind of like starting to make more friends, but I'm swiping the other day, and guess who shows up? And I'm like, first of all, it's like a horrible picture. No offense. Like, they're a really good looking person. And I was like, why would you pick that picture? It's like a weird picture. And I, like, of course, like looked at the profile really quick and like got some interesting information. And I was like, swipe left. And it said they were single. So something's going on with that 3-week marriage thing. I don't know. But here's the thing. I was like, why is this person who doesn't maintain friendships, never was like, because while I was in it, I was like, oh my God, I need friends. I need people. I'm so isolated. I'm unhappy. I need friends. Never wanted to have friendships, like, at all. All of a sudden on Bumble BFF. And then I realized it's because they're looking for straight girls to do it again. And they're probably going to swipe only on the ones who say that they're married or like in a relationship, and then, make that friend and do the whole, I knew when I swiped on you, I just felt it. Like, I saw, like, oh, you're so beautiful. I can't avoid this. And I'm like, that is something that I was not expecting. Like, you'd think that would be a safe space. Like, I'm looking for friends, and here's like freaking X. Like,
also looking for friends for a different reason. They're also looking for friends for a different reason. Looking for people to, like I said, to target. Just kind of like she did that. You said they're like a personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
They're a personal trainer. Okay, something like that. So they can meet people like that too. It makes me physically sick. Do narcissists struggle with friendship? I mean, it really just depends, y'all. It depends on the other person. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. But like I said, you see, that kind of leans into like the patterns that person presented, that narcissistic person presented, like that pattern of looking for friends who might be married in a relationship, moving to a new place and looking for friends and stuff like that. Like, hey, I'm new to town. I don't have any friends there, and here they come. It's just like, I'll be a friend. I'm looking for friends too, and then the cycle continues until somebody stops it. The cycle, it just keeps rolling downhill until it hits a tree or something. You know what I mean? So you gotta keep it doesn't stop until somebody stops it. I'm going through it now. But yeah, I feel like your situation was like, I remember you told me that story. I was just like, wait, 3 weeks? Yeah, 3 weeks. Dear Lord. And I don't think they get divorced either, are they? Please, never mind. I don't never go through that one because
I don't know. It's really scary though, because if you think about it, like, you meet someone in real life, you never know. Like, the thing is that, like, and I'm gonna start talking about this more, like, and you say this, like, slow the heck down, slow down, and like, stop you know, stop. I don't want to sound like I'm like super paranoid. I kind of am like, stop taking people for what they say in the beginning. Because anyone can say anything, and even if they're not narcissistic, they just might not be who they're presenting themselves as.
Yeah.
Like, slow down. And in the queer community, it's like, you're probably not on like lesbian TikTok, but lesbians are out here like, yeah, I met this girl and we're in love and we're gonna live together, my dog. And it's like, it's almost like we're all narcissistic because we're all just like, we're all like taking on that pattern. And like, I'm saying I did it once, I'm not doing it again. But like, it's, and to be fair, my ex is a narcissist, but like it's perpetuated and it's praised to like move quickly. And if you don't move quickly, then it's like, well, do you guys even like each other? You know, you should be, they call it like the 72-hour date. Like lesbians will hang out, you know, meet up for coffee or something, and then it's all day, and then they sleep over, and then they just like hang out forever and ever and ever and ever. And it's horrible. Like, I'm sure some straight people do stuff like that too, but like, this is what's praised on TikTok. Everyone's like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, you just started talking 2 days ago and she already bought a flight across the world to come see you. And it's like, no, like you're setting yourself up to get hurt at the like minimum. Like maybe once in a while it works, but like at a minimum, you're disappointed, hurt, feel rejected. At a maximum, you're now living with someone, you've just signed a lease and you're being abused. And I was physically abused and made excuses for it because it wasn't a man. And it's just as dangerous. Like, physical trainer, does CrossFit every day, has done for years, very dangerous. And like, this is just not talked about.
Yeah, but it's goodness gracious. So you said the 72-hour date, that's what it's called? Oh. but you see that, I see that happen all the time on TikTok, like literally. So I don't, like I said, you know, I like to observe. I just watch people and stuff like that. I'll see people get out of narcissistic relationships, and then a week later they're already in love with somebody else. And I just be wanting to comment. I was just like, "Why are you following me? We mutuals. Slow down." But I was just like, "Gotta let it play out." And they end up getting hurt. They're like, another narcissist. Like, slow down, please. Tap the brakes. Why? Like, I always say, ask the question, like, if this is forever, if this is meant to be, why are we rushing? And you know, ask them that question. Like, if this is forever, if this is meant to be, if we're truly soulmates, why are we rushing into something that's forever? What's the rush to forever? You know, if somebody, and if they violate that boundary, they say, well, why not get to forever faster? We can be in more time together. Why not? Why are we slowing this down? I just say, you know, tap the brakes and slow down, because like I've seen studies and stuff like that. It takes at least 90 days to get to know someone for who they really are. You know, for the mask, you know, don't take the red flags and, you know, use them as a bib in your first date. You know, just slow down with them. You know, I tell people all the time, like, take your time. Sometimes they'll hand you the red flag on the first date. You're just like, yeah, I've been married 10 times. Huh? All of them were great. Don't worry about it. You're like, what? You know, I'll tell people, tap the brakes, because listen. So many people get enamored during the love bombing phase that they don't listen. You know, I just like, listen to what they are saying. People telling themselves all the time. They'll cover it with a joke. They'll, you know, say their friends did it or something like that. But they'll like listen, because when people are trying to impress you, they'll tell the truth. They'll tell lies and stuff like that. They try to show, like, that's why I said take time. Google people. Put their name in Google, y'all. Y'all can Google. You can Google your dates. There's like, don't Google your dates. This is paranoid. Google your dates.
Invasive. That's invasive. Like,
yeah. Yeah, Google your first date, y'all. You can just like, boop, 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 boop. Domestic violence. What? You know, on parole. You know, something like that. Yeah. Background checks. She said she does.
The problem is that nobody's. I don't want to say nobody, but how many people do you get? At least like on my reactive abuse posts, or like, I don't know, I'm seeing more. Like, obviously, I'm following more like domestic violence, like shelters and things like that. Like, how many people are not reporting? I myself multiple times could have, should have, would have called the police, but I was protecting my abuser. And I remember telling myself, well, their brother, who is a narcissist, out of my ex's mouth, my brother is a narcissist. Also, man, if you met their whole family, you would just be like, like, it's just wild. But their brother was arrested for a felony against his wife. For domestic violence. And so in my brain, like, when they would harm me, I was like, well, I can't put their family through this. Like, I don't owe their family anything. Their family is the reason why these kids are like this. And I
Yeah.
protected their parents from having to hire more lawyers and
Yeah.
at the expense of like myself and the people who come after me. You
Yeah.
know?
There's a lot of people in the comment section popping up and saying, I didn't report it. Like, as I tell people, I was like, one of the biggest regrets when I'm doing one-on-ones with people who have experienced domestic violence situations, one of the biggest regrets I hear from people is that they forgive the domestic violence or they don't report it, and then that person ends up leaving them for somebody else. And they're just like, I should have told on them. I was like, you should have, you know, because when you didn't tell, if they do it again, or they just leave you for somebody else. Like, you didn't report it, so prove it. Prove to this new person I hit you. You didn't report it? Are there police records? No? Cool. Shut up. And that's what I do. They just move on. Like, you can't prove it. Let's say if they put their hand, like in this, y'all, if they put their hands on you, they will take your life. I'll let y'all know that. You know what I mean? They will 100%, take your life if, they report it. I mean, if they put their hands on you, especially if they put their hands in this area right here, this soft meaty area right here, they will take your life for real. You know, they just will. So I've been feeling like y'all, if they cut your throats or something, just be safe. Report it. You mean everybody wants to say, hey, look, it wasn't that bad, and this is I like. Police says that was his house. Yeah, your ex's dad choked you. Wait, what? Yeah, my narc dad. Oh, your dad. Oh, Lord. Don't you say your ex's dad choked? What'd you do? That's like, what you do? Were you beating up his son in the fight or something? You just gotta get off.
Like, but dad's gotta hop in. Yeah.
Yeah, the dad gotta hop in to protect him. Dear Lord, what happened? But y'all, you gotta stay safe and protect yourself, y'all, because if you don't, you end up, y'all see what you end up mind choking me every time. See? Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
I will say this. So the last thing, so most of the time when I was physically abused, and I just wrote this off, they would tackle me, get on top of me, prevent me from leaving, because I was always like, I'm out the door, tackle me, keep me from my son, which first time I should have been like, you try to keep me from my son, like, get out of here. But I would write it off, like I said, like, oh, they're so emotional. They love me and my son so much they can't lose me. But it did escalate to the point of holding a pillow over my face at one point, which, again, same as the neck. If it's from here up, run for your life when it's safe to do so, because like you said, they're not gonna stop. Like, at some point they could cross the line. But the only reason I say this all the time that I got out, I fully believe, is because we had someone staying in our house that night. So there was somebody there who I was able to say, like, hey, pack my child's bag, I'm gonna take care of this, and like, we're getting out of here. And they supported me in leaving. They saw what was going on. And I really think, like, had that person not been in the house, I don't think that I would have been able to leave, like, with my son. And even then, like, as I was leaving, they looked me in the eyes and said, you're doing this. You don't have to leave. You're doing this. And I was like, great try. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, you're verbally abusing my son. Like, I'm not being dramatic. I'm leaving. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see right there, even on your way out the door after she was abusing you, to try to blame you. It's your fault. Remember this. When I move on next week, you see me pop out with a new baddie. This is your fault.
Yep.
It's on you. It's on you. Remember this. You left. I didn't tell you to leave. And they'll use that to justify this stuff that they do. You know what I mean? They will 100% use that to justify the stuff that they do. Just like, hey, hey, what do y'all expect me to do? She left me. I'm gonna sit here and sulk? No, I don't sulk. I strong. They remember I was saying earlier they heal using other people. So said, yes, this is your choice. I didn't want this. Yep, there they go. You're giving up on us. This is just the common stuff, y'all. You're gonna give up on us? Wow. You don't want to fight for us? Wow, cool. Yeah, this is the simple stuff, y'all. You get caught up in the situations though. If you get caught up in the right moment, you don't want to fight for us, or they make you feel like you're abandoning them. Like, everybody leaves me, and I don't know why. That that right there. I lost 2 years of my life. Did you lose 2 years of your life, or did you have 2 years of wisdom? Because if you focus on losing 2 years of your life, that person has control over you because you'll focus on that as a loss. You'll always think about people who beat you. It's just like, that person beat me for 2 years. gotta take you reframe that. You sound just like him. Why does this happen to me? I mean, I'm just talking. I'm talking that talk, y'all. I'm just doing my little talky talk. You know. So you get caught up in a situation like this. Somebody asked earlier, Lindsay, how long have you been out of it? I know you said you were in it for 2.5 years. Somebody asked, how long have you been out of it?
So I finally left the house where we lived together in early October of last year. And then it took me 2 weeks to go no contact because, again, you know, they're just kind of popping up. And I remember thinking, like, I'm going no contact the second I get on this plane. And it took me 2 weeks because, I mean, a trauma bond is, like they say, like breaking a heroin addiction. Like, I wouldn't know about that, but 2 weeks. And then it took them going after that girl and me putting the pieces together about, like, oh my God, she's going for another married woman and blah, 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 for me to go no contact. So I've been no contact for, was it like 3.5 months?
3.5 months? Oh, there you go. 3.5 months. I think people, y'all, please don't misinterpret what I just said, because I'm not saying that you get 12 years of abuse is a gain. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to take it and reframe it into a positive, because if you focus on the negative, it's going to drag you down into the vortex of negativity for the rest of your life. Because if you focus on, hey, I spent 12 years in this relationship, every day you'll wake up sad as hell because you can't get those 12 years back. Time is a powerful thing. Time is the most valuable resource that you have. You can't get that back. So if you sit there and focus on wasted time, you waste more time focusing on that lost time. So how do you need to reframe it? You know, reframe it to give you, to take your power back so you can live the rest of your life, the next 12 years, better than the previous 12. No, I'm not saying that 30 years you spent was gaining knowledge. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying 30 years. I'm not saying 13 or 30 years, you know, was a net positive. I'm saying reframe it so you can wake up every day. You don't focus on that wasted time and things like that. You know, just, you know, I read some. Yeah, I do the self betterment, positive books. My mind just works differently on words. The words you say affect how you think. You know, 20 years on and off. Woof, on and off.
I totally agree with you about that. And like, yeah, like whoever like commented, like, it's not that we have to be like grateful. Like, I am so grateful for this amazing, like horrible experience that I had. Like, you know, oh, I'm so strong now because of it. Like, no, we don't have to be grateful, but definitely, like you said, like it will eat you alive. And like me, well, I met with a narc abuse like therapist, and she told me, you know her, that my ex was the worst kind of narcissist. Just from what I was saying, she was like malignant, covert, violent, all the, you know, and I just like stayed calm, but I was like, my child lived with this person for 2.5 years. And all the time, like almost every day, I'm like, like you allowed your child to be put in this situation, but I will eat myself alive. So instead, like you said, reframe it and be like, he's safe now. I'm safe now. We're safe now. And now I know, like, red flag, done. Like, not tolerating anything. And to be honest with you, the trauma that I had from my childhood, that, like, you know, when I was in my marriage, like, I wasn't super happy, partly because I'm gay and like didn't realize it until later, but like I didn't realize the trauma that was within, that was just like lurking. And so from that relationship, I was able to be like, you know, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, how did I get in this situation? I don't know. Good. Yeah. So, you know, take that and figure out what your own trauma is and heal it. Because up until now, probably most of us haven't addressed it. And like we have just the kind of trauma that a narcissist is like, oh, I can get in there and, you know, push those buttons and keep this going and all that. So absolutely, like reframe it and learn and grow. And Manjeet Ruprai says, what in the very first, in the beginning of her book, says one of the ways to heal is to learn about narcissism. Then you understand it. And then you're not constantly like, I mean, I still have a lot of questions, but you're not constantly like, what happened? Like, why did this happen to me? Well, because you had some trauma and the narcissist saw vulnerability and was like, hey, perfect.
Yep. They get you, and they amplify those insecurities. Anything that you had that's happened to you, they amplify it. And somebody said, yeah, and somebody said something about Dr. Romney said, listen to your body. Yes, y'all listen to your body. Y'all hear me saying that too. I said, listen to your body. Like, trust your intuition. Stop going against your gut. because if you keep going against your gut, you're going to end up hurt. Your intuition is there to protect you, not there to guide you down the wrong path. Your intuition, your gut feeling is what keeps you from walking off a cliff. Like you get to the edge of the Grand Canyon, your gut and your instinct says, let me not take a step over here. You know, if I take another step, I'm going to die. You know, but y'all are like, no, my heart says that the love of my life is down. Are you going to step off that cliff? You know, my heart tells me that the love of my life is the bottom of the Grand Canyon, so I'm going to jump. No, trust your intuition. Trust your gut, because that will lead you to the right way. The gut feeling is what got them in the relationship in the first place. It could. The gut feeling, the heart is what got you in the relationship in the first place. The gut is going to tell you anything. The gut recognizes these. The heart is not meant to see the red flags. The gut feeling is recognize these right here. You know. So there could be some truth. There could be some truth to that, though. Y'all. There could be some truth to that. You know, the gut feeling could get you in there. Like, I have a great gut feeling, but then if your gut feeling got you into a narcissistic relationship, then you have reason not to trust your gut. You're like, well, my gut was wrong about this one. So if your stomach started bubbling on your first date, time to go.
I got really, within a week, I was in the hospital. So Oof. Yeah, I was so sick. Like my body like shut down. And I can remember like it was just the most random thing and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. I had to go get like 2 liters of fluid and then I was okay. But like fast forward a year and everyone talks about like the gut brain connection and all that stuff. Like for like, you know, if you're eating poorly, then you have a foggy mind and all this stuff. But like if your mental health is suffering and you're ignoring your gut, like a lot of people will get autoimmune. Like I ended up getting so sick that I could barely work. I couldn't take care of my son. Like I had to move back to the town where my son's dad is because I was like, buddy, I need more help. Like I'm miserable. And I was like MRIs and blood draws and like all kinds of tests and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. And magically I'm fine. So yeah, don't ignore your gut.
Yeah, your gut. Sometimes I tell these people all the time. Yeah, sometimes your body actually physically rejects toxicity, and the toxic people around them, and you become you'll step when you get away from it, you're like, I used to have a headache every single day, but now you're just like, where'd my headache go? You know, it left. it discarded you.
Sleep again.
You broke up with it.
Yeah.
You know, you broke up with that headache. So yeah. I mean, in the hospital, high risk pregnancy after leaving them. Well, goodness gracious, y'all. I'm telling y'all, being pregnant with a narcissist and they own full obsession mode and trying to ruin your life. They don't care, y'all. They're trying to ruin you. Especially if they told you get an abortion and you didn't. They're going to try to make you have a miscarriage or something like that by stressing you the hell out. So sometimes you have to go no contact during your pregnancy to get away from people like that, y'all. You really do. They'll intentionally stress you out. Can you please stop calling me? I'm stressed out. Call you 1,000 times. Tie your phone line up. You know, I always get so anxious around him. That's your body telling you something. You know, that's your body. Your body is telling you something like that. Yeah, I can't be alone without the house lot, but the best Valentine's Day. Well, okay. Yeah. Y'all have any questions for Lindsay about her specific situation and whatnot, y'all? I know I see my chat be going.
I don't know how you get like when I try to pop into your lives and like just watch you, and there's so many comments. I'm like, whoa. Like, how are you?
I catch certain ones and I just read it really quick. You know, I like speed reading. You know, this is confirming. It feels like therapy for me. Well, there you go. That's how you empower yourself. This is like a learning session for y'all. You know, this is like a learning session for people. I'm pregnant now, high risk. See, there y'all go. See, that's why you get around people that are going through similar situations that also can help you heal and get through. You know, get through this part and stuff like that too, y'all. Because the hardest step is typically the first step. You know, coming out of the blocks. Just like running a race right there. The hardest step is going to be the first step, getting off the blocks to pick up speed. Because once you get to going, you're going to get to going. It's hard to stop you. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, you get into that conundrum. Like what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? You know, which one are you? Yeah, you determine what happens in that situation. Scientifically, who knows? But in real life, you determine what happens. What happens with an unstoppable survivor meets a immovable narcissist? Who knows? Can you turn into a narcissist after being with one? Do you feel like you're a narcissist now, Lindsay?
No, but people will comment on my stuff and say, you must be the narcissist. Like, you're talking about your ex like this. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think after you be with somebody for an extended period of time, yeah, you do kind of start to act like them sometimes as a defense to their behaviors, you know, because they condition you to respond to them or to react to the way that they're treating you. So sometimes you can look narcissistic yourself, you know. You'll start gaslighting them back. Like y'all be gaslighting each other. Just this, both of y'all just be dizzy as hell. Or nobody know the truth. You're just like, who's telling the truth here? The truth gets lost. Yeah. So I feel like that situation arises right there. Do they care when you go no contact? Yeah, you see what happened to her when she went no contact. She just popped up out of her house, tried to break into her house, y'all. They do care. That right there, it does happen. So they do care. I mean, feeling like I also feel like don't worry about them caring or not, because if you worried about them caring, that means you're thinking about them in the wrong capacity. Like, am I hurting them by going no contact? Should I call them? Should I break no contact? And then you break it, and you feel bad about yourself. You know, that's more about them than it is about you. That's why I tell people all the time that you know, it's like if you go no contact, it's for you. It's not for them. You know, it's for you to heal, not for worry about the narcissist person. And somebody said, can we have a one-on-one where I can pretend to be a narcissist and give you closure? I can't give you closure. Closure is something you have to give to yourself. I can talk to you, but closure is something you have to give to yourself. Like that comes from within. You know what I mean? Closure comes from within you, your own being, to realize that the relationship has reached its, has plateaued and is over. You know, the relationship has fallen down the crevasse. You know, there's no light down there. That's something you have to give to yourself.
The closure is the way they treated you. And this is what I always tell people, because like, you know, you're not getting closure from a narcissist. They're not going to come over and sit down with you and like I did fall for that. Like they would, you know, I did allow them to come over during that week, and what did they do? Gaslight me. You know, you can't have a conversation like that. They're not going to give you closure. So the closure is you leave, you go no contact, you give yourself the answers. Well, that was emotional abuse, that was physical abuse, that was whatever. That's really shitty. There's my answer. Closed.
Yeah, if I tell people like closure has to come, like it has to come from you. If a narcissist asks you for closure, that means they just want to get back with you.
Yep.
Yeah, if a narcissist asks you for closure, that means specifically they just want to get back with you. You know, they don't need closure. They they just want to. I deserve some closure. If you can't talk to me after 4 years together, I don't care what happened between us. I deserve one last final conversation. And they try to suck you back into a relationship where they pop up crying and stuff like that. Somebody said, Lindsay, did you ever question if you were the narcissist? I worry all the time that I may be the problem.
No, I never did, but I was constantly like over the course of those, well, let's say like a year and a half, like when we started therapy, I was constantly researching what was wrong with me. Like I was looking at, you know, obsessing over attachment styles and why and which one did I have and what was causing me to be so like needy and dramatic and unhappy in the relationship, because it was always like, oh, you need too much, you're asking too much, you expect too much, you're never going to be happy, blah blah blah. So it was me, like I never, like when I googled narcissism, I never was like, oh man, wonder if I am this. It was just like, you know, there is something wrong with me and I'm going to fix it, and then hopefully my partner will start working on their shit too. But it just doesn't work that way.
Somebody said, if I send his supplies a text showing them everything he is doing, is this breaking contact? Is he still contacting you? I feel like what good would that do other than bring him back to you angry as hell? Why you trying to ruin my life? Blah, blah, blah. And if you do that and they still stay, but again, which typically happens, it happens a lot. You'll expose them and they'll still stay. And you don't win, you lose. You lose regardless. I just like, if you can go no contact, I always say go no contact, because it is for you, not for that narcissist. It makes you look jealous. The girl won't listen. See, there you go, right there. Sometimes they just don't listen, y'all. See, Amanda said it took me so many times to get it. That's my homie Amanda right there. So they don't want you. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, it's a battle, y'all. It's a battle, and like whoever wins, it's up to you. Actually, The empath in me wants to warn his new supply. About what? I got a video about that coming up today, y'all. You want to warn a new supply? Like, say, if you warn them about me, I already told them about you. Like, my ex is beep, beep, beep. She probably going to reach out to you and try to slander me and say all this craziness. Please, 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 please don't believe her. And then you believe her, and then you reach out, and then you bring us closer. Like, she actually reached out to me, and she said exactly what you're going to say. You can trust me. I told you she was going to say that. Thank you. You lose. So, go ahead.
I feel like if you reach out to the new supply, like I definitely took your advice because I struggled with that too. I was like, man, like I have this information. This person is maybe not safe. And I remember like calculating in my head, like safe, like they're still being love bombed as the weeks would go by. And then I was like, well, at this point I was being physically abused. So they might not be safe anymore. And it sucks. Mm-hmm. It sucks. However, in my opinion, like if I would reach out to that person, that opens up the door, like you said, for the ex to come back, to contact you and be like, oh my God, you're so crazy, just like what you said. And that to me is breaking. For me, my no contact rule, for me, extends to every single person who knows and has contact with my ex. So if you pop up on my phone and I even suspect that you know and have, follow them on Instagram or whatever, I am not responding to you, period. And it took me a while to work up to that, but no. I am not. Yeah. So the supply is, in my opinion, contact. Like third, fourth party, whatever contact. And I will say this because you talked about like being like they're being told that you're crazy or whatever. Someone told me that they said something to the last supply, who I don't think is the current supply anymore. And the last supply said, they have listened to my podcast. Like they checked me out. The girl, she checked me out and she said, well, I researched narcissism and this isn't it. They're not a narcissist. Also, did you know what Lindsay did to them? And I kind of like laughed and I was like, yeah, I figured that would happen because I'm not going to defend myself. But on that note, this is something really important that I wanted to say before we got off here. Like reactive abuse is a thing. And I have engaged in reactive abuse. I have never, hit, kicked, punched, restrained, choked, whatever, any of those things. But in my video, like with the pillow, like I have gotten and you see, like I have seen therapists reacting to like it's often like a man recording his wife who he has driven absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. Like I saw one where this woman is like trashing her house, but again, she's not trying to hurt him because she's not violent. And he's like keeping her child away. And the therapist, like, this is reactive abuse. She's not abusive. She's not crazy. And so I want to say that if you have done reactive abuse and you're thinking that you're abusive, you're crazy, you're horrible, like you were pushed to that level, you were gaslit, you were like, I always say it's like having a wild cat, like a tiger in a corner and you're poking it, like you took its baby, so it's angry and you're just poking and poking. Eventually it's going to fucking kill you. Like, so yeah. I think it's really important to talk about. And like, I would feel like I wasn't doing justice if like with my little, not huge platform, but it's a platform, if I didn't say yes, because when I say yes, I have engaged in reactive abuse, it takes away their power to then say, Lindsay is also like, I know that they've told people that like, I yell, I'm mean, I'm this, I'm that, she'll throw things and whatever. And I'm like, that's right. I did. I did. And I never did that before you. And I will not do that after you. So what is that? You know what I mean? But again, don't defend yourself because it's not worth it. Just be like.
So you see that situation right there. You said the new supply or the old supply? Listen to the podcast.
So the supply after me, because at this point we don't know what supply number we are on.
And listen to the podcast and still didn't believe it. So again, be very wary if you're reaching out to the new supply for whatever reason. Because again, you can get trapped up into that situation where you look like you're just jealous. It's like, why are you trying to ruin her life? Like she didn't do anything to you. She's moved on, and then she's making TikToks about her and trying to get famous. And and all I did was buy her some blueberries. Like people are just ungrateful.
I bought those blueberries. I picked those flowers. I bought the ice cream.
So you see how that situation goes. She just said happy birthday for you in that situation. But it really is a battle though, y'all. Okay. Yeah, so I do have to hop off here. I had to get I hear my son banging around upstairs. My daughter's screaming. So,
Oh no.
yeah, also check out the Lindsay Goodman. Check her out on Instagram. And also you can follow her from TikTok and whatnot. She has a lot of great stuff on her platform and whatnot. Her platform is growing. She keeps saying it's not big, but it's growing. It's spring. She's hitting the springboard right now, y'all. So she has a lot of good stuff on there. She has a podcast and stuff like that too. You said, right?
Yeah, the podcast, it's all linked in my bio. Like my website is there. The podcast right now is called the Late Bloomers Collective because I made it to talk about my experience coming out late. And then I was like, wait a second, this is really important. It's where we're talking about abuse. So who knows, but that's where it's at. It's on iTunes and Spotify and that stuff. So yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for hopping on here and telling your story and whatnot. If y'all, I'm gonna post this on my YouTube channel. Hopefully it'll download. Hopefully it'll download. Let me post my YouTube channel or whatnot. But if you want to, we can go live on Instagram and YouTube again. Like I said, you can share your story so more people can see it on YouTube or Instagram or whatnot. If this doesn't post, we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for having me. No, thank you. My first person doing this over here. I haven't done a split live on TikTok in forever. So so thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, check Lindsay out, follow her page and whatnot. And like I said, thank y'all for tuning in. Peace. Thank you, Lindsay.
Bye.